Hey guys, my name's Jonathan Reich. I'm a licensed CPA in the state of Louisiana. And because I'm a licensed CPA, I deal with clients from all walks of life and all types of businesses, anything from restaurants to construction to service industries to retail. I've kind of got my fingers in a lot of pies. And so part of that, in addition to utilizing all these different accounting platforms that you guys may often see me talk about, one of the conversations that frequently comes up is, who should my credit card processor be? And so that's the subject of today's video. I want to talk to y'all about Luqra versus Square. These are two of the, you have one of the behemoths out there. Square's been around for a long time. They're good at what they do. They offer a robust set of services and kind of keep everything in-house under one umbrella. And then you've also got Luqra, who is a little bit newer. They're working on basically being an ERP, a payment processor. They've got meet or match rate guarantees with minimal holds. They kind of have a different palette. They have a different offering. And so I kind of wanted to walk through both of those today just to see which may make the most sense for your small business. So I guess first, let's kick it off with Square. Square is the default. It is the small business processor that most folks are going to know. It started with that little white card reader, and now they've got the tablets. There's also reports within Square. You can do payroll, manage inventory. It's basically a little ecosystem for like cafes, boutiques, service businesses, folks who are selling you stuff in person. That's Square. If you've ever been to a food truck, this is one of my favorite examples, and you go to flip that iPad around and they say, okay, please leave me a 30% tip. That's Square. Luqra, on the other hand, is a payments first platform that's basically got an ERP layer like kind of wrapped into it. And so it's really good for reporting, compliance. It's kind of keeping everything at your fingertips. It's going to allow you to do analytics. And it's built for merchants who really just need cash flow. They're a lot less likely to freeze your account. They have their underwriting is a little bit different in that, in my opinion, they have a greater risk appetite. And so they're not as willing to freeze payments such as Stripe or Square might be. So they're really, in my opinion, geared towards e-commerce. And so that's one of the key differences between Square and Luqra. So Square, built for retail, cafes, salons, food trucks, and then basic e-commerce. It's pretty strong if you need point of sale, inventory, online ordering, some light payroll and staff scheduling, and you want something simple. It's all right there. Luqra, on the other hand, is going to be for online businesses, in my opinion. And so if you're an ISO or a payment company, Luqra it was tailored for you. It's got a high focus, in my opinion, on companies who are planning to experience a ton of growth, and specifically like e-com, software as a service, drop shippers, or those businesses that need a little bit higher risk appetite and cannot have Square or Stripe freeze their accounts. So let's talk about what all this is going to cost. Square is great because it's super easy to compare. It's 2.9% plus 30 cents. Give me 1 second. I believe I need to jump. Yes, it's 2.9% plus 30 cents for if you're using a Square Plus account, $49 a month. And then if it's tap to pay, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. So that is really attractive for most folks. It's not going to be interchange pricing specifically at volume, but it's not great. It's not terrible. I feel like I've seen most of these card processors like Clover, Aiden, Hellsim, any of those, they're typically going to be around 2.5% to 3%. And then the interchange plus pricing will be a little bit cheaper. However, so you know what Square's price is. It's right here. It's 2.9%. You can get it a slightly higher if you're not going to pay that monthly cost. But one thing that is really interesting about Luqra is they will meet or beat any rate. And I think that really means you stand behind your product, to me anyway. Like if you're saying, hey, bring us a quote from someone else and we'll match it, that talks a big game. And so that means that, they must have something that they're proud of, because I would not want to lose money on that deal. If I was Luqra, I would not say, oh yeah, I can undercut them. I don't think that's what's happening. So that really kind of is a sticking point to me. I think that's pretty robust. I think that's a bold claim. So, and I would expect them to make good on that promise. The other thing is they advertise no rate increases ever. They have transparent pricing. So it definitely seems like it's got the lowest rate around, which is really attractive for people who are trying to put those dollars back in their pockets, because those fees on credit card transactions can really start to add up. So overall, your pricing between Square and Luqra is either going to be the same, or if you can have Luqra beat this price, then Luqra will be the cheaper one. So let's talk about risk tolerance between the two. So I kind of told you, like, Square is, they're traditional. You know, they're gonna do their risk assessment. They're gonna make sure you're not a business that's trying to commit fraud, that you're low risk, that you're not in a space like you're selling hemp or THC, something that may be legal in some places and illegal in others. They don't want to get caught in the crossfire for that. So they're really great for low risk, everyday card present transactions. If you have to key in that card or it's online, it's typically going to be a little bit more expensive. They're mainstream aggregators. They're quick to review, they're quick to hold funds, and they're quick to shut down accounts if their risk management profile does not like what you're doing. And then the other thing to me is that's a black box. I don't really appreciate that, any chargebacks or anything like that. I like to be able to call someone and say, hey, what was this for? Let's dispute it. Let's talk about it. I just feel like you're not going to get that experience with Square. With Luqra, on the other hand, the payment processing, whenever you're onboarded, you're going to go through underwriting. There's an onboarding, there's compliance checks, there's reporting. It's all going to be available to you. I feel like it's a lot more transparent. And so you're not going to end up wondering, why are my funds being held? They also, within Luqra in their ERP, there's going to be like fraud analysis tools, chargeback tools, and dispute management tools. And so that keeps you from having like all these different platforms that are going to end up costing you and being nickel and dime. So basically, if you've ever had a great weekend and your funds have spiked and they were frozen because your payment processor didn't know why, I feel like Luqra is not going to be the one to do that. So how quickly can you get your funds? Standard next day processing for Square. That's pretty run of the mill. If you pay them a little extra, I think it's 1.5%, maybe 1.7% is kind of what I've seen for some of my clients. You can get it instantly or same day. Luqra also says they offer lightning fast deposits and real-time approvals as part of their turbocharged deposits. I said lightning fast, same deal. Fast deposits, typically I would assume that would mean for next day. So let's talk about everything else that's not Square or Luqra. If you are running Square, you're going to have access to a pretty deep tech stack, a lot of different integrations. Most of them are going to be relatively plug and play with Square. So it's got the point of sale system integrated into its tablet and its hardware. But if you're looking to connect different tech options within the platform, you're typically going to find that it is available. So a bundled ecosystem, you're going to be fine. Luqra, because it's a little bit newer, you're not going to have as many integrations, but you still have plenty. The other thing is, because Luqra, and see here some of their featured integrations here, because Luqra is also a full payments processing center plus an ERP, a lot of that stuff's going to be in-house. A lot of your reports and whatnot are going to be available. So it's all kind of, the way I would describe it is Luqra is basically like a back office platform. They've got that underwriting, the compliance check, the reporting, the analytics, things like that. So, okay, we're wrapping up here, guys. The last one I want to talk about is, what is the support like? Square, it's a big company. It's going to have a big help center, and it's going to have a lot of forums. It's going to say, check this out or check this out, to see, if it can troubleshoot your issue. If you pay for a higher tier plan and you're definitely pushing more volume, you're going to get that more white glove service. However, if you're just somebody who's just bringing in a couple $100,000 a year, I would not expect that. Plan to wait on hold. Eventually, you can get through to someone, or you can email their support. I have emailed their support. They usually get back to you within a couple days. Not great if your funds are frozen, but okay if you just have a question. Luqra's really seems to push the customer service based support. They're pretty proud of it. So one of their things that they call out is 24/7, 365-day a year support. And so, I mean, if I ever have a problem and I'm on the other side of the world, maybe traveling for business, Luqra will be able to, I'll be able to get a hold of someone. And they typically, if you are a larger client, they're going to have a dedicated success manager as part of that merchant relationship. So you have like a go-to contact for someone who can help troubleshoot your problems. So who should you use? Let's talk about that. You should use Square if you're like a micro retailer or a brick and mortar store. Luqra, in my opinion, is for companies that are really scaling up, who are into e-commerce, software as a service, or they're drop shipping. They're pushing a ton of volume. That is who Luqra is made for, in my opinion. Square is a good fit if you need a point of sale or like hardware or terminal or something like that. But Luqra is for those serious subscription merchants, sales driven organizations. You may also want to use Luqra if you're really concerned about that risk tolerance. Luqra is going to be a lot less likely to freeze your account. So one of the other things I've got is just a little comparison chart to kind of walk through who's going to be best for who. So it's going to just outline everything we just talked about. Luqra is going to be best for those growing companies. They're best for folks who have a higher risk appetite. The pricing is meet or beat. Products and tools, they have a pretty deep stack, but not as deep as Square. Payout speed, they're both going to be pretty quickly. Risk posture, Luqra is going to be a little bit more willing to underwrite and fund quickly, and it's going to be less likely to freeze your accounts. And then their support model, both are going to be okay. Luqra seems to do that 24/7, 365, whereas Square is going to be a lot of self-service and stuff like that. So overall fit, payments are strategic. You need those funds quickly. There's maybe a mix between online and in person, whereas Square is going to be those smaller businesses that have a ton of card transactions. So overall, neither platform is going to fail you. Neither platform is going to just make it impossible for you to run your business, but definitely consider what type of business you're running, and consider where your funding is coming from, what you're selling, and then how that might reflect in terms of risk appetite to the payment processors. Consider what your rates are, and then pick the one that makes the most sense for you. Only you are going to be able to kind of get to the bottom of it between the two, whether it's Luqra or Square. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you guys learned a little bit about some of these processors and platforms today. And now you've got the information you need to be able to pick the right one for your business.